Hi, this is Jim Starkweather, the publisher of Kitmaker Network and Armorama.com, and welcome to another Turning the Page. This one is a kind of a premium Osprey book. I would say that mainly because of its size. This one is about 100 pages. It's part of their campaign series. This is 293 in the campaign series. This one specifically is Downfall 1945, The Fall of Hitler's Third Reich by Stephen J. Zaloga, illustrated by Steve Noon. As I said, the book is about 100 pages, 96 pages to be exact. The list price for this book in the US is $24, in the UK is £15, and in Canada is $28. On the back it says, as the final months of fighting in Europe in 1945 began, the Allies embarked upon a series of mopping-up operations, destroying the last remnants of the once mighty Wehrmacht. While defeat was inevitable, the explicit no-surrender order issued by Hitler forced the Germans to fight on increasingly desperate conditions. Yet at the same time, the relationship between the Western Allies and the Soviet Union was already on shaky ground. As German resistance was crushed, the Allies began to eye each other nervously across a battle-torn Europe. This book traces the final operations of the war and the political agendas that guided them, whilst also analyzing how the strategies adopted by the Allies at this time fostered the intense feelings of suspicion that would later drive the Cold War. So as you can see, it's a very, very historically relevant kind of time period. The kind of the seeds of the Cold War being planted. And let's just go ahead and cover the content section before I wax poetical. In contents include the introduction, a chronology, the strategic situation, opposing commanders, opposing armies, opposing plans, the campaign, which include, I think, quite a few campaigns, the campaign in perspective, the battlefield, or operations, I said. The campaign, and then these are the operations, I would assume. The campaign in perspective, the battlefield today, further reading, and index. So here's a map breakdown, which is pretty nice, showing basically where I think where Germany held some footing, and then in 1945, and then obviously where they were pushed back, neutral Switzerland, neutral Sweden. And the introduction section going over, obviously, this, I believe this is a Yalta conference photo, a very famous photo. I've never seen in color, though, I don't think. That's interesting. Didn't even know that photo existed in color. The very famous Yalta conference where where Roosevelt, in his ultimate wisdom, decided to let the Soviet Union basically take over all of Eastern Europe and create basically, their own puppet governments, which... in retrospect, I mean, I will get on a tangent just for like 2 seconds. This is the moment where we both won and lost World War II, because here we went to war to free Poland. Remember, Germany invaded Poland, Russians invaded Poland, or Soviets invaded Poland, and we said, no, Germany, this is the final straw. You cannot invade Poland. So we went to war in Europe. The British know this. This is history. And yet, at the end of the war, Poland was a puppet state of the Soviet Union. Does anyone see irony there? I mean, there's so much irony in the end of World War II that... okay, that's all I'm going to say. Chronology goes into important dates, obviously, during this time period, from January through chronology and the strategic situation. Anyway, so you can see from the book, though, there's got lots of photos, some which may be famous and kind of you're familiar with, others may be more unique, but it talks about opposing commanders, goes over biographies of some of the Allied versus German commanders, the opposing plans, and how they were going to try to stave off the attack versus how they were going to pincher the Germans between the two armies and so forth. Which obviously is what happened. And then I'm sure it goes into some of the kind of more lesser-known last little ditch things here and there, like we'll use the Battle for Berlin. This is a nice little map here of the city of Berlin. Some illustrations, obviously. Junction of Allied forces. I'm probably talking about crossing various major river points. I think they were already over the Rhine at that point, though. And then they have a map here again showing kind of the push forward through Austria and yeah, go all the way through the end. So, being that this book is written by Steve Zaloga, which most armor modelers are familiar with. If you're not familiar with Steve Zaloga, he's been kind of in the business at least as long as I've been doing Armorama, and long before that, I'm sure. But yeah, he's been a modeler / historian / tank expert / Soviet kind of history. I wouldn't call him, I guess, a professor. I don't know if he has a doctorate in history anywhere, but yeah. Let's read Steve's bio, because that's probably in here somewhere. Where is it? Author. Stephen J. Zaloga received his BA in history from Union College and his master's from Columbia University. He has worked as an analyst in the aerospace industry for over 2 decades, covering missile systems and international arms trade, and has served with the Institute for Defense Analysis, a federal think tank. He is the author of numerous books on military technology and military history, with an accent on the U.S. Army in World War II, as well as Russia and the former Soviet Union. So, yeah, there's a little background on the author. Don't always do that. But, yeah, I'd say this is definitely, if you're interested in history, the final days of World War II, at least the European front. This is a good, probably, book to have to fill any stopgap-y kind of things. And I'd like to thank Osprey Publishing for sending this book along. And you please leave your comments, suggestions, whatever other information, questions below. And make sure to give us a thumbs up or a like on this video if you can. It really helps it out. And we will see you next time on Turning the Page.